I'm John Hummel, Senior Technical Writer for Altinity. We are continuing the epic journey into ClickHouse visualization using ClickHouse data with the beautiful charts and graphs of Apache Superset. In another video, we went over how to install Superset with the ClickHouse SQLAlchemy driver and verify that the versions used will be compatible with secure ClickHouse connections like Altinity.Cloud. If you've seen that video and implemented your own ClickHouse compatible deployment of Superset, then you're ready to connect your Superset server with ClickHouse. Whether your Superset is installed directly, run from Docker, or from a managed service, you can draw on ClickHouse data to feed your Superset charts. Are you as excited as I am? Probably not, because I just made myself this amazing cup of coffee. So while I sip this, you should know that these instructions are also available on the Altinity documentation site, along with guides on starting your own ClickHouse clusters on Altinity.Cloud, ClickHouse security, and other critical ClickHouse queries. Or maybe you just want the latest information or meetups about ClickHouse. That's on the Altinity resources page. Well, that's it for the sip of coffee that somehow I've managed to keep talking through. Make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you can hear more about my amazing coffee antics, or get more ClickHouse-based training. Whichever. This is a good cup of coffee, though. I'm going to demonstrate connecting two different ClickHouse servers and two different environments, but the core of them remains the same. We'll use the SQLAlchemy format. I'm going to go over that format first, so it will make sense when we actually use it. The SQLAlchemy format is formed so every database connection from Superset to your database of choice, and of course, that's ClickHouse, follows the same structure. First part, the SQLAlchemy connection type, followed by the username, :password, @symbol, and then the URL, question mark, and then any options. So here's two examples on your screen. So let's break down what each of these types and parts are. The SQLAlchemy connection type. This defines the type of connection that we're making and the driver that we're going to use. In this case, we're using ClickHouse native. The username and password. This is pretty standard. You'll notice this in the format username, :password. The URL. Here we have the actual host name or the IP address that we're connecting to. Options. This is where you may use different settings. For example, for the connection to the demo account, it requires TLS encryption, so the option secure equals true is used. Other options use timeout, certificate validation, and other settings. See the SQLAlchemy ClickHouse driver connection site for more details. Now that we've gone over some of the background, let's actually demonstrate how to connect to our ClickHouse databases from Superset. One last thing is a quick note. This is using the ClickHouse TCP port, not the HTTP. So this means it's going to connect over port 9000 and port 9440 depending on whether your connection is encrypted or unencrypted. We'll start with connecting to a ClickHouse server running on a local server. When I say local, I mean it's running on a virtual machine on my laptop. You may recognize this environment if you've seen other videos in our training series, running on Ubuntu 20.04. Here's the procedure. First, you need to have Superset running. I know, kind of a no-brainer, but I have to say it or people may skip this essential step. Next, you need to log in as an administrative user. If you followed our installation guide, then by default, that'll be whatever password you assigned it if you installed it directly on the server, or if you're using Docker, it'll be admin/secret. Once you're in, select Database for the top menu, then plus Database to add your database connection. Give your connection a name. It doesn't have to be the same as the ClickHouse database. This is just whatever the name of your connection is in Superset. Then, drop in your SQLAlchemy URI. As mentioned, we're connecting to a local server, so I'll just use that one. Just copy and paste. You can see here that this all matches our SQLAlchemy URI format. The connection type is ClickHouse native. In this case, there is no username and password because we're using the default user and we set no password for that user on this local server. The URL is just the IP address of the virtual machine serving up ClickHouse for me, so there's no options. Before we add this connection, let's test it out. Otherwise, we'll be scratching our heads later when we're having problems. This is where you can check if the password is wrong or if you need to adjust the options. In our case, it's a pretty simple connection. If everything checks out, we can click Add and go for it. That's one connection made. Let's add the other. This is a demo account set up on Altinity.Cloud with some read-only data. We encourage people to use this to see how they can use Superset or other systems with ClickHouse. Or you can sign up for your own Altinity.Cloud trial account and use your own data. The setup is the same process. Click on Databases, then Plus Database. Add the SQLAlchemy URI, only this time notice we have the option of Secure equals Yes. This is because this ClickHouse cluster on Altinity.Cloud has encrypted communications turned on, because security is important. But it's not a big deal. We test connection, it all works, we add it. Now we have two ways of populating our pretty Superset charts and graphs with data in two different ClickHouse servers. Before we stop, let's do a quick demonstration of our connections by adding in a dataset. We'll cover datasets in another video, but datasets are either direct connections to a database table or a virtualized table created by a SQL query. We'll just create a quick physical dataset to show that we have the data. I select Database, then Dataset. We have our connected databases available through our dropdown. And boom goes the dynamite. There's a list of tables. Perfect. I'm going to select On Time, which is a collection of flight data. Once this data set is complete, we can explore it and, hey, look at that. It's data. I don't know about you, but I think this data would be a lot easier to understand if we changed how it looks. Instead of in a table format, we could do something really cool with it, like a chart with lines and graphs and circles. But that's going to be in another video. Since you've made it this far, if you don't want this amazing cliffhanger to drive you crazy, you could head over to the Altinity documentation site. You'll find all the details on how to integrate Superset with ClickHouse, including how to add charts and tweak it based on your ClickHouse data. If you want to wait for the next video on this channel, make sure you subscribed and click that notify button. You can also hit up the Altinity resources page for the latest blogs, webinars, and meetups. If you just want to chat with other ClickHouse users, check out the subreddit on our ClickHouse. I'm John Hummel, Senior Technical Writer for Altinity, and this concludes our presentation on ClickHouse visualization with Superset. And I'm going to go refill this coffee so we can get out the next video. Just for you. Not anyone else, just you. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, happy coding.